Maths watch, it's the best revision we've got, right? So anyone who watches this, I'm going to make this as fast as I can. I don't want you having to listen to hours of video. Let's get you some nice pointers for tomorrow. So starting with a question that will look like this, okay? Write the number 45,000, 45, and then whether you see the word thousand, I would put a comma in, okay? And 13. The big mistake is just writing 13, right? You're going to need a zero there. 0, hundreds, tens, and units, right? So that's how that would look. Okay. Then put your commas into these. So come back 3, put a comma in, come back to another 3. The first comma is your million. So there's 7 million. Then look at this number here, which is just 8. 8. Your second comma is 1,000. Right. And then look at the last number, which is just 209. Look, we should write it in words, I suppose. 209. Question 2. We're going to go as far as we can, as quick as we can, okay? Stick them in your calculator, right? So I'll grab my calculator super quickly, just do one of them for you, right? So into my calculator, I put 44 times 27 equals 1. So this is 1188, which is the same answer as this, so they are equal. Then I put the next one in my calculator, 3,900. Use your calculator. Don't forget you've got a calculator. The answer to this is 52, which is bigger than 46. And I assume, although I shouldn't assume anything today, that this is that one. I think that's 1027. If you put that. So just calculate away for question 2. All right. Question 3 is naming shapes. I am going to just pick up on some others. Okay. This one. Right. Listen to the ones I'm giving you now. This is the one that when I sat on my bench as a child, and it started collapsing. It's called a parallelogram. Right? This one, pretty standard. You know what that's called. Okay, that's called a kite. Right? They are the two I would learn, but just in case, it's worth knowing these two. This one is a trapezium, and this one is a diamond, but the mathematical word for a diamond is a rhombus. Looks a bit like a parallelogram, but the parallelogram is like a rectangle that's kind of falling down. In terms of 3D shapes, this one is a cylinder, but the one I'd learn a ball, which I think we know a ball is called a sphere. Hopefully we know that this sort of shape is called a cone. Yeah, they should be enough for you there, okay? Right. Question 4, write down the first 4 multiples of 36, use your calculator. Multiples are the times table, so we're going up in 36s, not what goes into 36. What 36 goes into. So onto your calculator, add another 36. Then add another 36. Then add another 36. Okay? So it's the 36 times table effect. Just using your calculator to keep adding on 36. Or whatever number they go for tomorrow. Prime numbers. Okay. Prime numbers not in 2, 3, 5, or 7 times tables. They are your first 4 prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, and 7. So if I was 2, 3, 5, and 7 are all prime numbers, okay? But then the 2 times table is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, okay? So they're not prime. The 5 times table would be 5, 10. I've already crossed out 10, okay? 15, 20, okay? The 3 times table is 3, 6, 9, get rid of 9, 12, already got rid of 12, 15, etc., etc. So the only number there that isn't in the 2 times table, the 3 times table, the 5 times table, or the 7 times table is 11, and that makes that one prime. Now, factors are what go into a number, okay? They come in pairs, though. So what we've got here is we've got 1, 3, and 11, okay? 3 times 11 makes 33. And to make 33, that would be 1 times 33. So the missing number is 33. And the factors of 33 are 1, 33, 3, and 11. That's quite nasty, that. But that's not a nice way to ask that question, is it? But there we go. Question 5. Joanna writes down 2 square numbers. Square numbers this time. So 1 squared, which is 1 times 1. 2 squared, which is 2 times 2. 3 squared, which is 3 times 3. 4 squared, which is 4 times 4. 5 squared, which is 5 times 5. Okay, so Joanna's going to write down 2 of these square numbers. She takes the smaller square number from the larger square number and ends up with 16. Okay, which 2 numbers here can I take away from each other and get the answer 16? All right, well, it could be 16 take away 1, but that's 15. But actually, it turns out that it's 25 take away 9 is 16. So this is a square number here because it's 5 times 5. This is a square number here because it's 3 times 3. And when I take them away, I get 16. Dylan adds 2 prime numbers, and his number is an odd number. One of the odd numbers is 13. Dear me, this is ridiculous. So we're going to add a prime number onto there, and the answer needs to be odd. So what are the prime numbers? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, etc. Well, if I add 2, I get 15. So that's odd, right? Anything else, 3, 5, 7, 11, if I add it on to 13, it's going to become an even number. For example, 13 add 3 is 16. That's even. So it must be 2, because all the other prime numbers would make that answer even, not odd. Okay. Right. So, more labeling. From the center to the edge is called a radius. All the way across is called a diameter. Around the circle is called the circumference. And the dodgy one there is a line like touches like that is called a tangent. Okay, so what is the special name for the line from the center to the edge? That is called a radius, but you might need to know the other 4. Which one of these is a reflex angle? We said this in class. Reflex is bigger than 180. This one is a right angle. These 2 are obtuse. 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 This one is just stupid. It's too big anyway. It's bigger than 360. Anything less than 90, like 70, would be called acute. All right. I'm going to miss that out. The answer, these 2 add, just realize that these 2 add up to 180. So they could be something like 100 there and 80 there. That would work. Or could be like 120 and 60. Could be 110 and 70. Could be, whatever, anything. As long as they add up to 180, that's all you need to know about that. Okay. Describe the words for continuing this. Okay, the word in here, let's check what's going on. We're going down 16. I mean, you could check that in your calculator. You could do 89 take away 73 to work out the gap there. And it's a 16 gap. Take that one away from that one and you get a 16 gap there. Take that one away from that one and you get a 16 gap there. So in other words, the root word is down in 16s, or better than down in subtract 16, or if you prefer to subtract, you could write take away 16, or you could write going down in 16s. This one, not so easy. This one is like getting big, big, and big, right? This one turns out to be times 1, and I think it's times 3. Try it. Try times 3 on your calculator, and if that's that, try times 3 on that and check it's that, and just keep trying. Otherwise, try times 4 or times 2 and see if you get there for that. Okay, Alan has N jelly beans. He eats 6 of them. How many has he got now? Well, he had N, but 6 of them have gone, so we need to take 6 away. That is all that is asking. So if it said he'd eaten 10 of them, it would be that. If he's eaten 4 of them, it would be that. If he's eaten 5 of them, it would be that. Okay, that's easy enough for you. Okay. You've got a calculator, right? Use it. Use it. Yeah, I think so. First of all, 3 out of 10. Put into your calculator. Put that into your calculator. Press equals, and then use the FD button, right? Or put it in like this: 3 divided by 10 equals, and again use the FD button to change it, right? And it'll tell you that the answer is 0.3. Now, if 0.5 is 50%, 0.3 is 30%. In fact, the decimal and the percentage is the same number. You could think of those as 30 and 50, right? But we don't tend to write the zeros there. Okay? This is a bit more awkward. All right, you'd have to possibly try what divides by 20 to give that. Now, you just try it out. It turns out the answer is 19. That if you put into your calculator 19 divided by 20 and you press the F to D button, you get 0.95. But you could try numbers there. You've got a calculator to help you work that out. Let me just see how long I've got left to put in. About 4 minutes. We can get quite a few more of these done. Chaps, this is just stick into your calculator. Okay, so there's a square root button on your calculator. Then you can put in that number, 18.49. Press the arrow across at that point. Otherwise, guys, it'll do that. And that's not what we want. So at that point, press the across arrow so that you can then do the add 1.5. And to put the squared on that, that's the x squared button. So that's how you put that in. Just be careful that, just there you press across so you start the next bit of the sum. Okay? We've done a load of these anyway, Right. Chaps, what this means is P is 9 of those plus 4 of those. It's 9 times whatever this is plus 4 lots of whatever this is. So we're told X is 32. So it's 9 32s plus 4. What's Y? Y is 27. 4 of those. 9 of those plus 4 of those, and use times through of 9 times 32 plus 4. Put that into your calculator. I don't know what the answer is. Use your calculator and just rush in so that we can get more in here. Okay. We did this the other day. Remember, for the fraction, last two, I think, right? We get to 12. That'll give us plenty of marks in here. Divide by the bottom times by the top. You get 180. The range of the numbers is 3 different numbers. Okay, so draw 3 boxes if you need to. So it tells us the highest number is this one. 3 different numbers, 4 is this one. And if the range is 4, there's a gap of 4 between those. So the smallest one must be this one. And then the middle one could be like 177 or 178, but we are told they're even. So I guess it has to be 178. And finally, the coordinate of A is 3 across 2 up. And the coordinate of B is 1 across 3 up. And there's something about the midpoint. I'm sure it asks you here, what's the middle point? Like if you connected those two, what is in the middle? So if you connected those, the middle is here. So that is 2 across. And it looks like it's like there, which is like 2.5. So 2 across, 2.5 up. And then it says this is a right angle triangle. So if you turn it into a right angle triangle, and then it says that's point D, so that is 1 across and 2 up to make it into a right angle triangle. Okay, we'll leave that there. Hopefully that's enough to get you going in the exam. Watch this video a couple of times. Let me know if there's any problems with anything there. Okay, does that make sense? I've got a minute left here. So, right, let me just read that part B again because I think I rushed it. A and B are 2 vertices. That just means corners of a right angle triangle. So basically, A and B with 2 corners of a right angle triangle. Your job is to make it into a right angle triangle, which looks like that, and give the coordinates of that point. That's where I got D from. My apologies if that was not a good thing like that. Okay, when we see this question, we're timesing the numbers together, chaps, right? So all you got to do to fill in the table is 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 2 is 10, 7 times 2 is 14. The next one is 4. 1 times 4 is 4, and 7 times 4 is 28. And the next one is the 6 times table. 1 6 is 6, 3 6s are 18, 5 6s are 30, so on. What is the probability of someone scoring 10 or less? All those scores are 10 or less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of how many scores altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there I will stop.